Welcome back here to the weekend preview for Los Alamitos Racecourse. I am your host, Jose Contreras, joined by the voice of Los Alamitos up in the booth, Michael Rono. Michael, how you doing on this lovely Thursday afternoon here, May 11th?
Yeah, beautiful, mate. Lovely afternoon. Little breezy in Huntington Beach, but clear blue skies.
Yes, and that's what we want to see, clear blue skies, and hopefully it stays that way the rest of the week as we approach here the weekend of May 11th and May 12th. Let's recap what happened last week. You gave us another winner, market analyst, another 2-year-old debut winner, also was very flashy there, winning towards the outside part of the gate.
Yes, yeah, a decisive margin in favor of that half to Mornings with Maria. Mm-hmm. And it was a nice piece of work following on from Expensive the week before. And I'm going to try for a juvenile hat trick, mate, because I'm looking at another 2-year-old for this weekend.
I like that. We're going to stick with the 2-year-olds. I'll mention my lock of the night later on with Professor G. We're in a good roll with the lock of the night as well.
You sure are, yeah.
So we're going to try to keep it rolling of both your selection and my selection of the nights. And we'll talk about your selection for Saturday night's program. I'll bring up the PPs here so people can look at what race we're going to take a look at. And it will be in race number 6. Is that correct?
Yeah, the 6th race, yes. 300-yard maiden for 2-year-olds. And there's not much on the morning line between numbers 1 and 4, Cheetah and 5 Bar Supreme. I just have a slight leaning toward the latter as the second wagering choice on Ed's morning line. The horse for Lindolfo Diaz, who's had 2 gate works. The first of them was mid-April, breaking from the inside. The horse began straight enough, but was forced in and showed some competitive spirit to come on and win the drill, but it was moderate time of 12.9. We'll show you the second drill, the most recent one now, which is from April 29, breaking from the outside.
Yeah, here's the workout. April 29, 5 Bar Supreme was on the outside of this 2-team set. The inside runner is by the name of As de Copas. But here's 5 Bar Supreme on the outside. What did you see in this workout?
The horse drifted in slightly at the break. Nothing too significant, but was all business in recording a half-second faster time of 12.4 compared to the first drill on April 15, 2 weeks earlier. Nice gallop out all the way around the clubhouse turn. And as was the case with market analysts last week, I just like the improving pattern here from the first work to the second.
And you can see it just looked fairly professional for a 2-year-old at this point of the year. Not a lot of movement, not a lot of drifting, which a lot of these times, like we mentioned on the show previously, Michael, a lot of professionalism is going to win you races this early in the year. It doesn't matter if you might be the fastest worker or the most talented later down the road. As long as you're probably the most professional first time out, you're going to get that maiden diploma. You got a great shot at getting that maiden diploma early in the season.
Yeah. Cheetah's last gate drill was quite professional also, but the favourite has to deal with the rail, and that's no picnic on debut. So just a slight leaning towards 5 Bar Supreme for a barn that's churning out the winners. Lots of talented juveniles coming out of the Lindolfo Diaz barn again this season.
Yeah, you can see a field of 6, and these are going 300 yards. We do have another maiden going 220, but all these tutors have minimum of 2 workouts or a start, and that's why they're trying 300 yards. Michael trying to go on a good roll here with 5 Bar Supreme. Michael, does that make it 5 in a row? 5 selections or 4 selections?
It's 4 of the last 5. There's been 4 winners and a second from the last 5. As a matter of fact, 2 of my recent picks are clashing in a different race on Saturday night. Chivalry was one of my winners, and that horse for Juan Alleman, I'm a 60 man.
Yes,
that's the only loser I've had in the last 5 picks. He ran a decent second, but he had every chance, I must admit. So anyway, I decided not to make a pick in that race because I don't want to be jumping the wrong way.
While I'm scrolling here to the PPs, any thoughts about the featured event? Are you going to give Party Politics one more time, or what's it going to be? What do you think?
Well, Party Politics has had such legitimate excuses for his recent defeats. I mean, his recovery and his effort in the last stages of these recent races has been fantastic. So I just cannot possibly give up on him. At the same time, the odds are skinny enough against a really good field. I mean, you've got the trifecta horses from the El Primero del Año Derby, who happen to have come up with the inside 3 post positions, 1, 2, 3. You also have the exacta horses from the Ed Burke Million Futurity, which was won by Party Politics, the runner-up being number 5, Ain't He Tempting, who makes his seasonal debut. You've got the Winter Derby runner-up in Good Wagon SA number 4, and you've got a pair of horses who qualified to the 2 Million Futurity last December in Mahomes Magic and Good Wagon SA. So what a terrific stakes race this is at 400 yards for the 3-year-olds, the Dillingham.
It is. That's going to be the featured event on Saturday night. I'm with you. I think there's legitimate excuses with Party Politics. Tough not to give them another shot. But it's going to be a very quality group, just like we saw last weekend. Good quality stakes events. And one of them turned out a big blanket finish. Great job in that call of One Sweet Duck in that blanket finish in your race call. What a blanket finish that was.
Yeah, they were all over the shop, weren't they? That was quite the spectacle. I mentioned after the El Primero del Año Derby, I remember on this preview show giving a tip of the hat to Mahomes Magic. Yeah. His effort at big odds coming from last was tremendous, and he's so underrated, and you've got 6-1 sitting there next to him, and maybe he comes up fractionally short, maybe he's half a length shy of these top liners, but I've just got a lot of admiration for him, and it wouldn't surprise me if he was in the thick of the finish.
I'll say this: he had no business finishing third in that field after that kind of start.
Yeah.
So you got to give him a lot of credit. This race to me is going to be one of those races where you wait until post time, what kind of odds you're getting on each horse, and kind of warrant if there's a bet to be made in that spot, because they're all quality runners. But again, Party Politics and Ain't He Tempting, they're going to square off in a rematch of that Ed Burke Million Futurity final. Should be a good one there in the Dillingham to close out the Saturday night program.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going for 5 in a row. I believe that's tab. I'll go back and make sure we tally up the winners. But good row, Michael, nonetheless. So job well done, and see if you can go for the 3 straight juveniles here on the show.
Let's hope so. Good on you, mate.
The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos. Our first futurity of the year will take place on Sunday, May 14th. It's the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity, and what a terrific group of young stars will be in action. Headed by fastest qualifier Racy Sweet Corona, he'll look to give his connections a record number of kindergarten wins. Plus 4 sharp stablemates led by Think Again Kev will look to upset the top qualifier. It's a great field of juveniles. The Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity. The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos. Racing fans, the traditional $2 Pick 6 at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a Pick 6 carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the Pick 6 pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a Pick 6 carryover or the $10,000 Pick 6 promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, including a $274,000 pool on March 11th and a $205,000 pool on January 7th. The traditional $2 Pick 6. A great bet, a great deal. Big-time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos.
Burns Ranch is proud to welcome 2-time AQHA champion Golden Boy. He joins multiple stakes winner MP Shining, whose first crop are yearlings, and California champion Middle Error, with foals arriving this year. Proven stallions include Separate Interest, off to a good start in 23.
Delight Interest trying to fend him off. Delight Interest comes through on the clock.
And Fly Through the Fire, a top 3 ranked second crop sire. Let Burns Ranch put you in the game.
That's right. We're about a week away, not counting this weekend, a week away from the running of the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity. Racy Sweet Corona there for Jaime Gomez and company, fastest qualifier. But we all saw those KBNs, right? 4 qualified for Keith Nelson and Heath Taylor. So they're going to be loaded there for that final. Can't wait for that first big futurity this season next weekend on the week of May 14th, excuse me. Actually, what am I saying? I'm looking at the old PPs. It is this Sunday. I'm thinking of a Sunday. No, so we're going to talk about Yes, we're going to talk about Saturday's card, but it is this Sunday, the
Yeah.
Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity. And then 2 weeks from there, we'll talk about the trials for the Edberg Milling Futurity. Okay, let's get back to business. Back to business. Saturday night, Mike Corona gave us a 2-year-old in race number 6. You're giving us a pick in race number 7. Chris, by the way, welcome to the show. How you doing on this Thursday afternoon?
And we're doing okay. Just lots and lots of work. There'll be some big races this weekend. Lots of simulcasts being piped in, and got some good races at Los Alamitos. So we're going to give that one horse in the 7th race, Temple Court, a big look in that 7th affair camp, that the late pick 4.
Yeah, and this is going to be the start of the late pick 4 sequence. Quick glance at the field here. 300 yards is allowance. We got a field of 6 runners. Chivalry was a Mike Corona selection a few weeks ago, and that made in diploma. We got Up for Everything, making the first start as a 3-year-old, adding Lasix for the first time. Henry D looked sharp over the wet track, Chris, in that win in December. And the more I look at his form, the more I'm thinking he maybe just loved the wet track that day, because at Ruidoso he ran well on the sloppy track as well. I don't know what to make of him second time off the layup, but I know you like the runner on the rail, Temple Court.
Yeah, Temple Court. Talking about Henry D, it's both his efforts on the wet, fast racing surface were like about 3/4, almost a length faster than the dry surface races. So
yes,
good pickup there on Henry D. But I'm the 60 man with no disappointed a little bit last time. Liked the horse and came up a little bit short. No real excuses. But we'll give Temple Court a look there for Mike Castleman. This horse has been away for a little while. Been away for 35 nights, but needed that fair. This horse is better than shown. If you watch the videotape, he broke very slow after getting fractions to gate and earned a better than look figure. He was crossed and was finishing nicely under hold. So the numbers are there. It's just a matter of getting out of the gate and running his race to be a big factor in that late pick 4 lifter.
And I got to tell you what, Victor Salazar, since he's returned, he's making the most of his mount. He's hitting at nearly 20%. A lot of those winners have come from the barn of Paul Jones, but I like the way Victor Salazar is riding. He gets the mount on Temple Court. Here's a replay for Temple Court. This was a Dashing Folly. She was in gate 7 in this field of 8. So tell us what you saw here in this replay.
Yeah, she got a little fractious inside the gate. You can see she's moving around just a little bit, almost lifts and leans back there. But when she leans, she breaks very, very slow. She was bumped back and she was crossed, brushed outward away from the gate as well. Kind of slow on the stride, was asked a little bit midway, but watch the final half of this affair. Is a big-bodied runner and needs a clear path to run. Hopefully that'll be the case and a decent getaway. This horse was starting out very nicely, better than shown right there with a big finish right to the wire and a nice gallop out. So the numbers gives this horse a look at the outcome as our price look there in the previous show selection.
Yeah, you can see she's going to break slowly there from that gate 7. She gets the outside post, and then that's pretty much where her race is over at that point. So she's going to look for a better trip. I honestly, this is where I landed as well in this race, so I think she's got every right to improve. As far as the rest of the field, I'm a 60 man. We're both in agreement that there was no major excuse for that beat last time out, right, as a betting favorite. But look who beat her. Look who beat him. Your old friend, the Hattery. The Hattery, you had given that horse out, I believe, twice on this show last season.
Yes, horse got the victory for us one of those 2 times. This horse did come back to run very nicely and won well, and showed a big bodied run with a good amount of ability. He's starting to run to that ability with some decent getaways. But I'm a 60 man, no excuse. But figures it's actually second best in that 7th van on my numbers.
Yeah, he's got a shot without a doubt. But last time out he got beat as a betting favorite from gate number 2, the Hattery, a previous Chris's selection. Gambling favorite, one of the other horses we didn't talk about in this spot, Oscar Peinado, lands on this runner, or Mike Castleman, who's also the trainer of the one. Gambling favorite, some of the best efforts have been under Oscar Peinado, so makes sense that he's sticking with him. But I'm liking the rail runner as well. We're both on the same horse here. I think Temple Court, with any kind of clean break, I think we'll see a much better effort than what we saw last time out.
Yes, you think I have a decent getaway. The horse is right there throughout. And figures like on my numbers, everything factored in, treble track variant, about half a length to 3/4 best. Just needs a clean getaway to show this horse's big run midway and big finish.
All right, Chris, we're recording this on Thursday, May 11th. And I was following some of the Remington Park action because this weekend they got plenty of trials for Futurities, Oaks, and Derbies. They canceled Thursday afternoon because of weather, Thursday evening racing. So that was supposed to be the day one of trials over there. So I think they're going to move it to Monday. I'll confirm there on social media and see if I can find more info about it. But Thursday, Remington has canceled, and I know they got big trials for the weekend. So are you going to be taking a look at some of those trials there for the Nightlands?
Yeah, we've got the 3-year-old trials on Saturday night. We're taking lots of simulcast being piped in, 4 from Delta Downs, 5 from Sam Houston. Of course, like 7 closing it out there with a number of trials there on Saturday night from Remington Park for the 3-year-old trials.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy weekend. And Chris, were you the runner that hit that $1 million pick six at Churchill Downs for 20 cents? It was you, right?
I wish it was. I wish it would have been. I'd still be here if I did, but it wasn't me.
Yeah, see, that 20-cent pick six at Churchill paid $1 million on Derby weekend. What a score. Congrats to the Connections on Mage there winning the Kentucky Derby. And speaking of the pick six, one player took down the pick six last weekend for $21,000 on the night that One Sweet Duck closed it out. I did not give up on One Sweet Duck, so finally was able to got rewarded with that pick 4. What a blanket finish it was in that race, Chris. It really was. Yeah,
very, very closely matched affair. My problem was I've used One Sweet Duck so many times, and then I just finally throw my hands up in there, give up on the horse, and the horse gets the rail and wins the race. Closely matched affair. Got the long shot underneath, trifecta with some bombs along the way, come back like 5,500 and change. So, like we said, the best bet on that race in the pick 4 here at Los Alamitos. Any kind of price pumps the return immensely.
Yeah, and that pick 6 weekends only had that price, right? And was a horse that we'd been given out here on the show beforehand. I was like, I'm not going to let this horse beat me. So I included that one in the pick 4. But yeah, that's the only price in that pick 6 sequence. And the one player took it down for $21,000. Well done. At Los Alamitos, the $2 base, all it takes is one price, right, Chris? And that really makes everything balloon up.
Yeah, it certainly does. One price is pumps them immensely.
Yeah, let's see if we can get your price this weekend along the way. Maybe a pick 4 single with Temple Court in race number 7. And we'll be looking out for your selections there for the simulcast signal, both at losalamitos.com and in the Nightlines. Chris, have a good evening. I'll see you out there this weekend.
All right, boys. You have a good night.
The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos. Our first Futurity of the year will take place on Sunday, May 14th. It's the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity, and what a terrific group of young stars will be in action, headed by fastest qualifier Racy Sweet Corona. He'll look to give his connections a record number of kindergarten wins, plus 4 sharp stablemates led by Think Again Kev will look to upset the top qualifier. It's a great field of juveniles. The Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity. The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos. Racing fans, the traditional $2 pick 6 at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a pick 6 carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the pick 6 pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a pick 6 carryover or the $10,000 pick 6 promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, including a $274,000 pool on March 11th and a $205,000 pool on January 7th. The traditional $2 pick 6. A great bet, a great deal. Big time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos.
Burns Ranch is proud to welcome 2-time AQHA champion Golden Boy. He joins multiple stakes winner MP Shining, whose first crop are yearling, and California champion Middle Error, with foals arriving this year. Proven stallions include Separate Interest, off to a good start in 23.
Delight Interest trying to fend him off. Delight Interest comes through in the clutch.
And Fly Through the Fire, a top 3 ranked second crop sire. Let Burns Ranch put you in the game.
That's right. It is the weekend of the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity. Been so busy, Professor. I was with Chris and talking about the race and all that. I was so focused on the Saturday program and not thinking about the dates that I thought the kindergarten was next Sunday. No, it's this Sunday. The Kindergarten Futurity. I was so locked in, Professor, that I was kind of focused on Saturday card. But how you doing? Thursday afternoon here. We're recording on May 11th. How's it looking out there in Cypress, California?
It's beautiful, Jose. We had a little bit of an overcast earlier in the week, a little bit of just sprinkles, very, very light. But other than that, it's been nice and sunny and beautiful. Our great track crew is working on the racing surface right now, looking spectacular as always. So it should be a great weekend of racing. It was a fun weekend here on track with a nice crowd for the Kentucky Derby. And we've been, like you said, focused so much on all the stakes action that we have going on. Not only that, but the Edberg Million trials are just a couple of weeks ahead. We've seen all these juveniles work towards the Edberg, and then here it is, the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity, a grade 2 event, our first Futurity, kind of sneaking up on us, but that's okay. We have it covered on this show today, Jose.
That's for sure. Before we talk about that field, and we just got news of the post positions for the final there with the 2-year-olds and the jockeys that will be assigned to those mounts. We'll talk about that in a moment. In the meantime, let's recap what happened last week, Professor. On the show, I said, you know what? I'm not going to let One Sweet Duck beat me, Professor. I said it, and I did not let her beat me. Big effort to win last week there as the longest shot on the board.
What a performance, right? It was. We talked about how wide open that field was. I told you I went 6 deep in that one, trying to hit maybe and find a nice big prize there. And the big prizes happened because 3 out of the 4 longest shot on the board ended up finishing first, second, and third. Of course, One Sweet Duck getting it done from the rail. A super effort for that nice filly. And talk about the ups and downs of racing. We had featured One Sweet Duck quite a bit, going into the Wild West Futurity because she was the fastest qualifier, the big favorite in that race. And she had a little trouble in the race, ended up finishing last. But here we go. The ups of racing now for our owner, Lex Fabrizio. He gets that stakes win, probably overdue for this nice filly. He said, we knew that she was good enough to eventually get us a stakes win. We didn't think it would happen tonight on that night, but there it is. She got it done. And how about Armando Viramontes enjoying a special victory here at Los Alamitos? I actually had a chance to talk to him right after the race happened. Here's Armando Viramontes talking about what that meant, winning that race on a board, One Sweet Duck.
This first stakes win here at Los Alamitos, but not your first one ever. You just had a one recently as well, right?
Yes, last week at Turf's Paradise. Blessed to win both of these races. Amazing filly I rode last week too. Just want to thank the owners, Monty, for giving me the chance, and thank God, honestly.
Yeah, you've been riding for some big barns here at Los Alamitos with a lot of success and doing well.
Yes, we're there. We'll see what comes for the rest of the year.
How old are you now?
I just turned 21 last week.
Big, bright future ahead for you, right?
Thank you.
Well, you couldn't take the smile off of him, that's for sure. That was a happy young man getting the win there with One Sweet Duck.
Yeah, you could tell that he was just a bundle of energy right there. Must have felt really good. And how about that? Celebrated his 21st birthday on the same weekend that he wins his first ever stakes win, which was actually the Desert Classic Futurity at Turf Paradise. So congratulations to Armando Viramontes getting that nice Futurity win. And then he rides a 3-year-old and gets a nice stakes win here at Los Alamitos. We've seen him kind of grow up here at Los Al. He's been riding for about three years, so he's probably been doing this since he was around 17 years old or so. Yeah,
you've seen him riding for Rodolfo Viramontes. Do you know the connection there? Is that his father?
That's his dad, yeah.
So there it is. We've seen him ride for that family name most of the time, but you see him picking up mounts for other big bars, and that was one great opportunity there for Monty. And he took care of business, getting the job done. Thankfully, I think we had a couple emailers that watched the show, Professor. They kind of placed a few bucks as well on One Sweet Duck. So the show was successful last week for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Between Michael Rona getting the job done, yourself with tabbing some nice winners. Had a great show this weekend, both on TVG, both Saturday and Sunday. Jose, I was watching and following, and you were on fire. So congratulations to you. And me and Chris Wade, we try to do our part here. Try to get put in some nice selections from time to time. I had it right. I knew it was going to take something big to kind of hit that that victory on Saturday night. I just didn't have the win.
Speaking about fresh faces getting the job done, another one of the jockeys that I mentioned on TVG on FanDuel as my new favorite jockey, just because I had a nice win bet, a nice pick 3, was Pamphilo Alegra. Professor, what can you tell us about him?
Well, nice victory, very nice ride for him. Rode for Jesus Mendoza. He has been riding a little bit. He's got about 20 mounts in his career. He's ridden some horses at 1,000 yards. He's got some mounts at on the quarter horse side. and he seems to do pretty well. I mean, his horses do hit the board quite a bit when he is aboard. So congratulations to Pánfilo Alegría riding for Jesus Mendoza. Nice victory. And as you know, Alegría in Spanish means happiness.
Yes.
What a fitting name for this young man getting that nice first win here at Los Al.
Yeah, congrats to both of those riders. They had a very good, fun weekend last week at Los Al. Any news about him getting shaving creamed, egged, anything down in the jockey's room? Did you get any word down there?
I didn't make my way down there, Jose. Okay. I was kind of busy doing something else, but I know it happened. I'm sure it happened.
Yes,
they don't let those opportunities slide. No. When they have a lot of fun doing it, and I'm sure the recipient, he enjoys it as well, right? It's something special that he'll never forget.
It was 1 to 9 that he was going to get egged, cold shower bath with ice, shaving cream, anything they can find down there in the jockey's room. They're pretty sure they threw everything on Pánfilo. Congrats to Pánfilo, Alegría, and Armando Cervantes there with a great Armando Viramontes, excuse me. I'm thinking Armando Cervantes with Monty, but Armando Viramontes with that great stakes win. All right, Professor, you picked up the phone. You made a few calls. You're the most connected man there down at Los Al. And you found out how some of this Kindergarten Future field is going to look as far as post positions. Here's a nice poster there for the Robert Adair there. Kindergarten Futurity qualifiers. Racy Sweet Corona led with the fastest time of the night. But look at a very good field assembled for this year's final.
Very good field. A lot of KVN Coronas on that page. Owner Keith Nelson, well represented as well. We haven't drawn the card for Sunday yet. But, I kind of got a preview there on the riders.
Yes.
Will be Political Rivalry. Ramon Sanchez will be riding Political Rivalry. Diego Herrera will be on Brindisi.
Okay.
Chosen One, Rodrigo Sigala Vallejo will get that call. Not surprising. He always rides for Heath Taylor. Think Again, Kev. Jose Nicasio, who got a lot of these horses home in the trials, will select Think Again, Kev. I would guess that's not a surprise as well. Double Down 1, 2, 3, Armando Cervantes and Monte Rosa. Familiar connections there. Double Down 1, 2, 3. He's Lonesome for Lindolfo Diaz. No surprise as well. Jesus Rios Ayala up. Kevin's Knockout. That will go to Armando Viramontes there. So nice. His stakes victory, he gets a chance to win a futurity here at Los Alamitos aboard a pretty sharp runner, Kevin's Knockout. Just a Fuller, Victor Salazar will be aboard Just a Fuller, just like how he was in the trials.
Mm-hmm.
Max Storm, Jonathan Roman will ride Max Storm for Ricardo Guillen. Ricardo Guillen and Rojas Racing, back-to-back years that they have a runner in the kindergarten. And Racy Sweet Corona, again, no surprise there. Oscar Peinado, very familiar name. Anytime that we have Jaime Gomez saddling horses, he is the top jockey in that barn. Jaime Gomez, Oscar Peinado, Dutch Masters 3, connecting with the fastest qualifier, Racy Sweet Corona. Had a chance to also talk to Dr. Streelman and Jaime Gomez following Racy Sweet Corona's win on trial night. How about we go to that right now?
Well, tradition continues. Another outstanding kindergarten performance here in the trials. Tell me about this one, because you were saying the last time that we talked, still living the dream, and what a dream of a performance.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing that just kind of lights your life. You smile when you see it happen. I have one concern now. When I call these guys on Tuesday, how's he come back? Because he ran pretty fast, but what a nice win.
Yeah, 4 times in your career as owner, you won the Kindergarten Futurity.
Don't ask me how many seconds.
Don't say the second.
We only want to remember the first, right? But I know as an owner, you remember a lot of those close finishes. Holland East, of course, in one of the greatest kindergartens against Corona Chick and so many other big races.
We didn't beat her, though.
Twin Spires.
Secret Car, Sassy Smith.
Secret Car.
Sassy Smith and Gold Nugget Road.
That's right.
Gold Nugget Road.
And that same race, Higher Fire, was also in that race, right?
I asked him that day. I said, can the filly run with the colt? And he says, she might beat him. That's the only race he ever won, but She came on and did pretty good.
She came in and did pretty good. And Jaime, you won the kindergarten 8 times, record as well. This horse, nice performance.
Well, man, you know, this is the type of the horses we shooting for all the time early. And like my man here, he liked the kindergarten. He pay every day in the kindergarten. I have to hold it to not to pay it. But so he tell me looking for the horses is smart enough to run early. That's what we do.
So there is, Professor. Just like they celebrate the wins, they remember all the ones that were close. So they're looking to add another one in the win column.
That's right. Dutch Masters 3 going for his 5th victory in this race. Ivy Gomez going for his 9th win in this race. Man, I gotta do that research. Which trainer has won the most times in an individual stakes race? I know Blaine Schwaneveld is probably right there in a lot of those, but for one trainer to win one stakes race here at Los Alamitos 9 times, that has to be way up there as far as the most wins in a single stakes race for an individual trainer.
Yeah, he's got to be for sure. And also, you know, Jaime Gomez is kind of, he said it, they kind of point towards those early runners that could really get going early in the year.
They want to see that flash, that speed right away. And I don't know if you heard my phone was ringing as we were talking. Well, now I got the post position for the kindergarten. So let's break it here right now. Of course, by the time that this show is available, we'll know the entire position. But let's pretend that this is breaking news here.
Okay, let's break it, Professor. Let's break it.
Political rivalry goes from post number 1, Jose. So political rivalry with Ramon Sanchez will be number 1. He's lonesome with Jesus Ayala, post number 2. Number 3, Kevin's knockout and Armando Viramontes. Number 4, Chosen One and Rodrigo Sigala Vallejo will break from post number 4. Number 5, Diego Herrera and Brindisi. So stablemates right there on going from 3, 4, and 5. Going to number 6, Justa Fuller, Victor Salazar for James Glenn Jr. and Dr. Ed Allred. Number 7, Think Again, Kev, Jose Nicasio, another Keith Nelson horse right there from post number 7. Kind of a good spot there for Think Again, Kev, I would think. Number 8, Max Storm, Jonathan Roman up. Number 9, Racy Sweet Corona gets a nice outside draw there, looking to give those connections another big win in the kindergarten futurity. And on the far outside post, number 10, Double Down, 1, 2, 3, gets the 10th post, Armando Cervantes up.
There it is. The post position is for the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity this Sunday night at Los Alamitos. The fastest qualifier, Racy Sweet Corona, out in gate number 9. Now, another research that would be fun to find out, what is the most winningest post position in the kindergarten? Maybe that's something that you can grab for me, Professor, and I'll share it during the FanDuel broadcast.
Okay, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, we have Isabel's going to have to help me with that one, though. Yeah. We'll have to get my trusty assistant, Isabel, to go up there and look at those numbers. We talked to quite a few other people heading into this big weekend of racing. How about we go to Lindolfo Diaz with the number 2 horse now in this race. He's lonesome, talking about this runner. And I kind of noticed that, he doesn't have a lot of horses that he points to this race. He likes to point them to the Edberg Million, but he does have a lot of success here. Last year, One Sweet Bar was in this race last year, and he won this race a couple of years ago with Chayito Cartel. So let's talk to Lindolfo Diaz about his lonesome.
This is a race that we usually don't, like you said, because it's kind of close usually to Edberg. So we usually always try to shoot for $1 million, right? So we usually pay 1 or 2. And this year my dad only had 1, so we did. This horse we bought him as a weanling, and he's not that big. And honestly, this is the only race he's paid for. It's just the kindergarten. He's not paid into anything else. So he's just sharp since I brought him in. Really smart. So he's been really, really smart since we've been here. So picked up everything really quick. He's little, but it looks like he can run at least 300. That's what we need him for.
You think he improved a lot because his time in that 220 wasn't the fastest, but right now 1571 at 300 yards, that's pretty good.
That day he was in the 1 hole, and it's tough for a baby out of the 1 hole, and he didn't really break, which is usually his being small, that's a strength, breaking, and he didn't break, kind of tucked back a little bit, and he made the lead about the third jump, and he took off. So he actually did quite well. He still won the race, obviously, right, the maiden, but he had obstacles and he overcame them. So he showed me a lot that day. He showed me heart, and today he actually broke the way I know he should and finished pretty good. Ayala said he tapped him a few times and he started rolling a little bit late.
Yeah, and going back to that debut effort, Professor, I thought it was a sneaky good win, and that's why I tapped in on top in that consensus there, because like you mentioned, Adolfo noticed that he broke slow, and it's very intimidating for horses to make up ground along the inside. Not only did he make up ground, he won by going away. So I was very impressed with that win, even though it wasn't the fastest of the time, and he really showed up nicely on trials night.
Yeah, and just the kind of a trend that we've seen, these 2-year-olds are winning from the inside post.
Yeah.
It looks like it hasn't been much of an issue. So political rivalry has to get a look here from that number 1 post. Also had a chance to talk to the people that have the most runners in this race. Owner Keith Nelson, right after Kevin's knockout, got the victory, and then visited with trainer Heath Taylor shortly after Chosen One had won. So we talked a little bit about some of the other horses. Think again, Kev, Chosen One. And also, trying to remember the other horse's name. Political Rivalry, of course.
Yes,
that's the one, Political Rivalry. So we talked to Heath about those 3 runners. So first, Keith Nelson, and then how about we jumped right ahead and talked to Heath Taylor about those 3 runners that I just mentioned.
Tremendous start to the campaign with your 2-year-olds. How has that been for you, just watching them and enjoying the way that they've been performing so far?
Well, it's a lot of fun. We obviously are making a commitment to come back to California. We like it. It's easy for us to get down here. And so we sent, I think we actually have 7 out here. We have 6 running tonight. Kindergarten was something that we kind of pointed things for, and, trying to, we love it down here, and looks like they're working. So good start.
And of course, a lot of them sired by KVN Corona,
yes,
who won the Edberg Million, won a couple of other really nice races. That just kind of cherry on top, right?
Absolutely. He's part of our family, and we're hoping that we can recreate a little bit of that magic he had down here.
And of course, he's named after a great football player.
Yep.
Kyle Van Noy, but a lot of these horses, these young horses, have the name Kevin in them. Anything you can share with us as far as
that's his barn name at Lazy E. They call him Kevin out there, so that's where that came from. Also, my business partner Macaulay's named Kevin, but that's his barn name out at Lazy E, and so we named a few after him. Kyle actually lives here now. He lives in Newport right here. Played for the Chargers last year, so if we can get one in the final, he's going to come out with us.
From Think Again, Kev?
To me, it's I thought the horse he broke in and he had to hold him probably the first 100, 150 yards in order to keep him off the inside rival. And so I think that even though he ran well, I think he's got a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah. And the Chosen One, he's just had two
nice
races.
outs. The horse, I think he probably needs a little bit different bit. He runs with his head real low on the ground, kind of like the horse of Chris's that won the million here last year, the Cyber Attack, almost like an armadillo. So I think I need to change to a different bit, a ring bit, to help hold his head up. He said he just wants to run with his head real low, so it's hard to ride and get going. He said he stumbled pretty good. Other thoughts, I thought that if you watch the slow motion replay, I thought for how bad Political Rivalry fell 2 times all the way to the ground, it is pretty impressive race.
Congratulations.
There it is. A few sound bites with some of the connections that are obviously in the big dance, and good to talk with Keith Nelson. And it's funny how we're like, where's the name Kevin come from? Well, KVN, so I'm pretty sure they started calling him Kevin out there in the barn. Yeah. So that's his barn name. So that's where you're seeing Kevin there in the names.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of flows right there, right? KVN, Kevin.
Yeah.
So kind of a fun little thing. And that's kind of a lot of the horses, a lot of the big stars, we know them by the names of their past performances, right? Yeah. But that's not always the name that that they're known for in the barn. We go visit over there, and there's always like, oh yeah, there is Star, or there's what have you, or something, maybe a mark that they have on their face or something along those lines. So yeah, kind of a typical thing. There's always like that little nickname that the people around the good horses or the horses back there have.
What I found interesting also in the soundbite for Keith Taylor is that he was already thinking ahead immediately of those trials of what he can change on some of these lightly raced 2-year-olds.
Yeah. Notice how the horse is kind of running the way that the horse is running with his head down a little bit.
Yeah.
And when we show the workouts, we'll show the workouts on Saturday for those horses that are running on Saturday. There is one 2-year-old that also was running kind of that similar style, kind of with the head down a little bit. And, sometimes the jockeys has to kind of pick the horses up a little bit just to kind of get them flowing a little bit more. But like you mentioned, Heath Taylor's already thinking ahead. Okay, what can I do to get him to maximize that stride? Because every millisecond counts, right?
Yes, it does for sure. So thank you for getting those sound bites, Professor. Since you already have the post positions, right? Are you leaning somewhere, some way right now as the pick? Who do you think drew well? Who are you liking now that we know the post positions?
Well, based on what the commentary that Heath is giving us, political rivalry, and if that horse breaks cleanly from a spot that has been doing well here at Los Al, you got to give her a chance. We'll see what the morning line is. Of course, Think Again Kev has just looked tremendous. Yeah. And I kind of like that spot post right there in the middle of the racing track here at Los Al. And you got to like Racy Sweet Corona as well, no matter where the horse is located. They faced each other already, right? Think Again Kev and Racy Sweet Corona when they debuted. They both ran in the same maiden race. And in that race, Think Again Kev, Edge, Racy Sweet Corona. Let's see what happens when Racy Sweet Corona draws on the outside.
All right, so that's a little bit of a preview of the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity this Sunday night at Los Al. We're recording on Thursday. We just found out the post position draw. By the time you're probably watching the show, the full PPs will be out for the entire card, along with morning line and all the goodies. So get to work for Sunday night. So looking forward to it. Should be a great weekend of racing. And 2 weeks from this weekend, Professor, we'll be talking trials for the Edberg Million. And historically, there's not a lot of 2-year-olds a lot of the finalists that want to wheel back unless, it really was an impressive win or they had a significant amount of trouble where they really didn't exert a lot of energy. And maybe we'll see some of those runners wheel back. So, but like Gandolfo said, they wanted a runner that was kind of fit for the shorter 300 yards and in early type. So they got one into the final. So we'll see who ends up wheeling back into those Edberg Million trials.
Yeah, didn't Navaja come back and after qualifying for the kindergarten, came back and qualified to the Edberg Million? I want to say that walkthrough Cristal that E.G. High Desert Farm had won the kindergarten and then came back and won the Edberg Million. She went on to be the champion filly in the nation. So, if they are pretty sharp, they look pretty strong, and they are eligible, maybe we'll see them again. But we've seen a lot of really nice runners over the last few weeks, that look pretty good. Look pretty good at 300 yards. They've already seen posted some nice efforts at 300 yards already. So we'll see what that happens. We'll see who moves on from this group of 10 to those trials. It's going to be fun.
All right, looking at the PPs here, approximate post time for Saturday night will be 6 p.m. 6 p.m. approximate post time for Saturday night, 10 races. And, of course, we'll conclude with the Dillingham Handicap, which both Mike Corona and I kind of previewed over that race, Professor. Do you know who you ended up picking on top in the Nylons in the Dillingham?
The Dillingham Handicap, I think I went with Good Wagon SA, if I remember correctly. I went with Good Wagon. Even though there is some, the top 3 finishers from the El Primero are in there.
Yes.
I went ahead and went with Good Wagon. Remember what he did in the Winter Derby, running second in that race, went from last to second.
So
that was pretty impressive. I got to imagine that he'll get a better start this time.
All right, so that's the Dillingham Handicap. I'm going to give Party Politics one more time. He's had excuses. He's got legitimate excuses. So I'm gonna give him one more shot there in the Dillingham. All right, anything else about the Saturday program for the VM Public, Professor?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is Paul Jones, very impressive, very good-looking 2-year-old by the name of Kevin Weiss Corona. I believe he's in race number 9, Jose.
Yes.
And he has looked really, really good in both of his workouts. Very fast times, 12.2 first time around, 12 flat in his second work. That was the bullet work of that morning. And we get to see him debut here on Saturday night. If there is an opportunity, maybe we can squeeze in that last workout. We'll be showing this on Saturday night.
He is by KVN Corona, a terrific, very productive mare. I'm a wise lady. And we've talked about how these KVN Coronas have been hotter than fish grease.
Yes.
In those NBA broadcasts. And let's take a look at this workout, Jose. Look pretty good just all the way throughout, going against a horse by the name of Dynasty. Kevin's Wise Corona flew out of the gate, floated in just a tad, but he was just full of run early on. And look at the way that he's going under a very easy hand ride. He is all business, Jose, the entire way. He's going to finish about 3 lengths ahead of the travel mate and just continues to fly during that gallop out. Look at the way he is going. We'll eventually slow down a little bit around that clubhouse turn, but the job got done. Just very, very special speed there from what we saw from this workout.
Yeah, and I like how he straightened out immediately after the jockey made that correction of like after breaking inward just a bit, and just leveled out and pulled away impressively. So that's something also that you like to see. I like to see it when the horse immediately listens to the cues of the rider. A lot of these heroes want to fight the rider. But you can see not only was he sharp with the sharp gate work, but also the way he listened to his rider, and his gallop out was impressive. So everything about both the workouts, especially the latest workout, tells us that he could be a serious runner.
Yeah, I agree, Jose. And I believe the horse that was the workmate on this one might be in action on Sunday. We'll take a closer look at those PPs. But there it is. Kevin's Wise Corona. Just add that name to some of the impressive juveniles that we've seen already racing here at Los Alamitos this season. Of course, looking forward to some of the big futurity trials as we move on through this campaign.
Yes, so that's going to be the obviously very tough horse to beat on Saturday night if he runs anything like his workout. Before we leave the show, my lock of the night has been on a good roll, Professor. My lock of the night for Saturday night will be Hot Memories in race 1. I'm taking Hot Memories, who was second to the lock of the night, Rufa Redknot last time out. But last week, James Glenn and Dr. Ed Roderick, and these jockeys had 2 entered, right? Last week.
Yeah.
Same 2 first-time starters, same jockeys, same trainer, same owner, breeder, Dr. Ed already. And one of them won at, 16-1, 18-1?
Yeah, what a way to kick off, right?
Yes.
The racing card. And I actually like the 6, Crestonian, a little bit more than the stable mate there. So I'll go with Crestonian here in this race, since we're talking about race number 1. The luck of the night, though, has been very, very tough. So Crestonian is going to have to rise to the crest of the mountain there in order to get the victory here against Hot Memories.
And I believe, I got to go back, but I think that's been 5 straight programs with the lock of the night hitting dating back to 2 weeks ago. So we're going to try to stay hot, Professor.
Now you're bragging.
I'm trying to keep up with Michael Rono. Michael Rono's been hot on the show. He's been hot on the show. So I'm trying to keep up with Michael. We're trying to carry the show here since Professor's picking up the slack over here. So Professor trying to pick up the slack with a few winners. So no, but it's been a fun.
Just wait until Crestonian.
Yeah, if Crestonian beats me, Professor, I'm not gonna hear the end of it once I head up to the press box after the race. I know that you're gonna be beaming with a smile as soon as I walk through the door there on Saturday night. So I got Hot Memories. Professor has Crestonian there in race number 1 on Saturday night. And speaking about what's to come, Professor, so 2 weeks from this weekend will be the trials for the Edberg Million, and then in between we'll have obviously the Preakness. So people can call the Vessels Club. Burgarts, start reserving a seat for the Preakness.
Yeah, please do. We had a great crowd in both the Vessels Club and Burgarts. So little nice tables there. We want to make sure that you have one of the better ones here in the house. So 714-820-2681. You can make your reservations calling that number there. Ruben Arcila, our fine Vessels Club manager, will make sure that you have a great table here at Los Al.
All right, Professor, before I almost forgot, a good thing I thought about it. We said we're going to give an opportunity to get some Burgarts hats and some viewers, right?
Yeah.
So what do you want to do in the contest? Pick the exacta and the winning time as the tiebreaker?
Yeah, pick the exacta. Winning time is the tiebreaker. You can either email me at larace@losalamitos.com, LARACE@losalamitos.com, or go ahead and post it here under the comments on this YouTube show, and we'll kind of gather all the entries, and we'll give away 2 hats there to the ones that come the closest.
Sounds good. So pick the exacta, straight exacta, and also leave a time there as a potential tiebreaker for that kindergarten futurity. A couple of Burghart's hats will be given away to the 2 winners there. So anything else for the VM public, Professor?
I think we covered it all, Jose.
All right, sounds good. Professor, head-to-head, hot memories versus Gastonian for us in race number 1 on Saturday night. And we'll be looking for a good event this weekend. The stakes events lived up to the hype last weekend. So let's see if we can get some nice finishes as well this weekend at Los Al.
Absolutely, Jose. Looking forward to it. Don't forget, LARace@losalamitos.com. That's the how you get your entry for this weekend's contest. Best of luck.
All right. Good to see you. Thank you for joining the show, Professor. I'll see you this weekend at Los Alamitos.
See you then.
The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos. Our first futurity of the year will take place on Sunday, May 14th. It's the Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity, and what a terrific group of young stars will be in action. Headed by fastest qualifier Racy Sweet Corona, he'll look to give his connections a record number of kindergarten wins. Plus 4 sharp stablemates led by Think Again Kev will look to upset the top qualifier. It's a great field of juveniles. The Robert Adair Kindergarten Futurity. The best of quarter horse racing is always at Los Alamitos. Racing fans, the traditional $2 Pick 6 at Los Alamitos is always a great bet. And when there's not a Pick 6 carryover on Sunday nights, we'll add $10,000 to the Pick 6 pool. That means that every Sunday night, Los Alamitos has either a Pick 6 carryover or the $10,000 Pick 6 promo. Plus, our total pools have been gigantic, including a $274,000 pool on March 11th and a $205,000 pool on January 7th. The traditional $2 Pick 6. A great bet, a great deal. Big-time wagering opportunities, always at Los Alamitos.
Burns Ranch is proud to welcome 2-time AQHA champion Golden Boy. He joins multiple stakes winner MP Shining, whose first crop are yearling, and California champion Middle Error, with foals arriving this year. Proven stallions include Separate Interest, off to a good start in 23.
Delight Interest trying to fend him off. Delight Interest comes through at the clutch.
And Fly Through the Fire, a top 3 ranked second crop sire. Let Burns Ranch put you in the game.